Greg. Mike. Two Bandits. Watching Bluey.
This episode is called Flat Pack with Justin McElroy.
What up, party people, and welcome to episode 76
Goodness,
of
he went into
Two
it.
Bandits Watching Bluey. I'm your good pal, Greg Painter.
I see him right there.
And with me, a man who always takes advice from cartoons dogs.
Aw.
And his name is...
I'm Mike Martin. Thanks for having me, man.
Mike Bud, how are you today?
I'm feeling very happy today. Yourself?
I'm happy today, too. I'm very excited today, too, because we have an awesome episode today. We have a little bit of a heavy episode today.
Yes.
We got Flat Pack today.
There's a lot to discuss and a lot to unfold.
There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to live. I'm not sure this is a two-man job, though. I think we need a third friend in here.
I feel like we need a little bit of juice to help us out.
Oh, nice. Bucket right there. Hoops right there. I love it. But our guest today, you may know him from the podcasts My Brother and Me, The Adventure Zone,
Keep going.
Sawbones, Empty Bowl, The Besties, which, quick time out, if you have Gamer Pass and you don't listen to The Besties, you are doing yourself a disservice. You also may know him from the 2020 spectacular, starring Justin McElroy, Trolls World Tour.
Yeah.
You now know him as our new best friend. It's Justin McElroy. Justin,
Our new best friend.
Thank you so very much for being here, and happy Candlenights.
Happy Candlenights to you. Blessed Candlenights. Thanks so much for having me. Thrilled to be here to talk about this this fine program, Bluey.
Speaking of the fine program, before we jump into Flat Pack, I'm just kind of curious. What got Bluey on your radar? What's your Bluey origin story? What was one of the first episodes you picked up, and what was kind of the reason that made you like, yeah, this is kind of a great show?
So it was kind of one of those that was just like on because we had, the TV on and it would come on after something else, I think. And, we watch everything with our kids. We don't, set them up with a cartoon for the first time. Be like, here, I hope you like this.
Smart.
So we would be around and a lot of it you can kind of tune out. And I think that's what I was probably doing with Bluey initially. Just because it's like, I don't know, it's pleasant and it's not irritating to have on in the background. So I think that was the first thing that was like, I was very into about it. And I would file kind of like, Peppa Pig is like a close to that. It's like, it sounds nice and it looks nice. And it's like every once in a while, there will be a joke for the adults that's pretty good. Ish. Yeah. And so that's kind of where I'd filed it away. I think the first one that really like registered with me was Takeaway, because if you have kids and you've ever tried to do anything with them, and especially like a dad of two girls trying to like run an errand, like a single errand, and the comedy of errors that ensues from that, I was just laughing out loud in a way that I like did not expect for a show that they were watching. And I think from that point on, I like paid a lot closer attention after that.
I can feel that. As also a dad of two daughters, Takeaway had some special feels for me as well. I've lived that day before, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But again, thank you for coming here. We're going to get to Flat Pack. Before we do, we're going to check in to see what our friends at Wiki Bluey have to say about this episode.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
What's a flat pack?
While Mom and Dad struggle to build new Flat Pack furniture, Bluey and Bingo transform the empty boxes into their own new world.
That's it?
That's actually, Justin, we like to read Wiki Bluey because sometimes it's real bad. This time actually kind of gives you an idea of it doesn't give you too much, doesn't spell too much, but it super doesn't hit the heart that this episode has.
Yeah.
So before we get into the weeds, I want to kind of let you open this up. We wanted you on here because about a year ago you tweeted, I've watched a lot of TV, not to be a stalker, but a year ago you tweeted,
Quote,
I've
unquote.
watched a lot of TV.
It's Twitter. That was up for public consumption.
I watched a lot of TV and feel pretty confident about this. Bluey's Flat Pack is the best episode of television ever made. So it's a big question back to you, but why? Why do you love this episode? Why do you feel this is the best episode of TV?
You don't want to just say, what'd you have for breakfast? You just want to throw that at him?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a very personal thing because, there are episodes of TV that have profoundly affected me, ones that like have stood out for me and stuck with me. I'm thinking about like episode 8 of Twin Peaks: The Return, which is like the black and white, even more like abstract episode than normal. the best episode of West Wing. Two Churches is definitely like up there. There are individual video episodes of like sitcoms and stuff like that I think are the episode of New Girl where they think they have drugs and they're trying to hide them is up there in terms of just like being outrageously hilarious. And but Flat Pack, it is working on like a level that, I mean, it's sort of like as a thesis statement for the show, it's like extremely audacious. It is on the one hand like a very relatable story of like two parents putting something together and getting frustrated about it while their kids are playing on their own. The only unrealistic thing about this episode is that the parents would be allowed to work unabated on this thing while their children played
Somehow they
together.
kept them in such a small confined space.
I've got a note on that. Are your kids that good? Because mine surely do not allow that time for play. That's when grandparents are showing up. So.
Certainly if we're frustrated, they definitely got to get in on that. I mean, that is half their work is done. You know, they don't want to miss out. But so it like definitely works on that level, and it's so funny and sweet. And watching the parents like argue about it and then try to piece together. And then just like if you have even a little bit of like lateral thinking cap on, you see that this is also a story that encompasses the entirety of human experience.
Nailed it in one take.
No big deal.
Thanks, 7 minutes.
Yeah. Just a quick 7 minutes where we encompass the entirety of the human endeavor, and not just humans, but all life on Earth.
Justin nailed it.
Just 7 quick minutes.
Usually we go linear in the episode, but I feel like we're going to bounce around a little bit because there's so much that's happening in this episode. Bandit falling on the volcano is literally the meteor hitting the Earth.
Bang.
Yeah, it's astounding.
Gets rid of the dinosaurs.
It's astounding. And it's also like it zooms in to like this is obviously like the scale at which they're putting together this thing is like the one scale, right? The close zoom in. If you zoom all the way out, it's this like entirety of life on planet Earth encapsulated in this. And then like there's this scope in between, which I think is kind of like where the episode is trying to take your brain is like
that's a good way to put it.
Your place, the fact that like your interactions with your family are also being mirrored throughout human experience. Like that it's all universal, you know? And I think that is fascinating and like can be, you know, it's a big one, right? Like it's a big episode and it's saying, but I don't even know that it's necessarily, and what I kind of find fascinating is like, it's not even necessarily saying, like, it doesn't necessarily have like a thesis statement in the sense of like where I don't think this is a lesson episode, really.
No.
You know, like you're not taking something away from it. It's more like,
drinking it in.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah. And finding ways to make that sort of like scope of things, because if you start, you know, we aren't wired, I think, to be able to think in eons. We're not wired to be able to think globally. I think it's why it's part of the biggest problem with like the planet, I think, is that we are not wired as a species to think outside of ourselves, outside of our community, whatever that community means to you. It can be a challenge. And I think that like, it's a pretty grand achievement to contextualize a family putting together some furniture in the scale of like all life.
And the episode itself is not afraid to be meta about what's going on too.
Right.
Because putting the cardboard box down, I'm not going to take advice from a cardboard or a cartoon dog.
Yeah.
And then midway through the episode, he starts taking advice from Chili. So he's taking advice from a cardboard or a cartoon dog. It's just layers upon layers on that side of things too.
It's kind of like, it in a sense is like anti-nihilistic, right? Because what it's saying is, yes, there are millions of years before this and millions of years after this, and you're alive for just a very few amount of those. And where a nihilistic perspective would be, well, then what does any of it matter?
Why?
I think that what Flatpack supposes is like, it's all that, man. Like it's all millions of flat packs being put together, and it's like that you are part of that. Like this is your part of that you are playing, but it is part of it, right? It's part of that grand cosmic scope.
And not just because we've got obviously the evolution that's going on with the kids with their play. I also noticed, because we listened to this a couple times before we put a record together, the music in this episode, it starts very simple, couple instruments, it builds, it crescendos, it gets louder, it gets deeper, it gets more complex as we go through to the point where we have that closing scene there, and it's just amped up to 11, everything going at once, and just the whole story of it. Just they take the writing of the episode, the artistic work of the episode, and then the music in there and just put it together so beautifully.
If the last 20 seconds of this episode do not destroy you, like I don't know what to say, honestly.
Seriously, because I felt like watching it. I'm like, oh, we could do a 3-part episode. One with the parents putting things together, one with the kids' evolution together, and just the grand scope of things. Because it's not such a sandwich to eat.
It's also like, again, like I don't
go for it.
It's also really high, but okay. It's also like not even that religious, like where a lot of these would like lean on that. There's this amazing, the very last shot of this, and talk about going out of sequence. The very last shot of this is you see Bandit say, "This is heaven," right? And then it's like okay, if you haven't gotten it yet, this is kind of what we're doing in this episode, right? Like,
yes,
let me give you
so.
the thesis at the end, right? But at the same moment where it's being lit in a sort of like supernatural heaven type way, right? And you've seen this like procession of Bluey up through these like, halls, white halls and white pillars and everything. They're evoking that. At the same moment, you are seeing Bingo in front of them, and these two parents are watching their kid play, and that is heaven, right? Dude. In that moment, that's their heaven right there. And also, here's the wild thing, right? It also brings the human endeavor element into it, because Bingo is in a spaceship. Yep. He is like, he has achieved this great dream of science too, and if that's your heaven, then you've done it. Like that scientific progress has also reached that point. It's astounding. It's 3 seconds. It's astounding.
And just even, we're going this in reverse order, then why not? Just right before that, when Bluey and Bingo are chatting, and Bingo says she's an adult now and she's got to go away, and Bluey just right in the moment is like, okay, cane, and
grabs the cane,
and then squints her eyes a little bit just to show that she is older now. And like you said, just I've watched this episode so many times, and including today a couple times, and just the line, "Bye, Mom. Thanks for looking out for me." Just it's waterworks.
It is one where like I actively like will not engage with it if I'm not in a you know what I mean? Like
you have to be ready to focus.
I need to go do some other stuff right while this one's on, because I can't flat pack right now. Like I can't. There's bills to be paid, and like I got to go get the mail, and I can't flat pack at this exact moment.
I can't have a 45-minute metaphysical experience here.
Not to divert too much, but I'm just curious, is this your waterworks episode? Is this the one that hits you in the feels the hardest?
No. That is oh gosh. The planet.
Are we going with Sleepy Time?
Sleepy Time. That is the one that I can't, and I got some stuff, man. Whoo. I can't even think about Sleepy Time, guys. I can't.
Our pal I helped us out with that one. He did the heavy lifting for you on that.
Thank God. I can't even think about Sleepy Time. Like, not only seeing like, I don't have to do that with you guys. Screw you guys. I don't have to talk about Sleepy Time here. I'm already talking about Flat Pack with you, which is heavy enough. I can't talk about Sleepy Time.
You got that. Well,
I can't do it.
We'll lighten it up a little bit then. IKEA or Barkia. I'm going to call it Barkia. Just why not? Because they're dogs. Yeah. Is it the last time you step foot in there, or you could live there? What are your feels on IKEA?
So I'm a woodworker. So for me, the appeal isn't necessarily there with IKEA. I'm also a good 3 hours from the closest IKEA where I live. So for me, it's not a big part of my life. I have made a bed because my sister-in-law liked the look of one in IKEA, so I've like kind of cloned
now
an
you're
IKEA
just showing
bed.
off, Justin.
Well, no, it's not hard to make. Beds are easy. Beds are easy.
You said beds are easy?
What bed? Yeah, beds are easy. It's small things that are hard. Beds are easy because you know, there's a lot of room for error with beds. But beds are easy. But other smaller things are harder. So I don't love it. I do love, and I want to hear your all's thoughts on IKEA because like I don't know how everybody feels about IKEA, but I do think that there is something to letting the flat pack, which is the name of the episode, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that it is also like it is playing the symbolic role of like commercialism and capitalism of like this is a symbolically like as a product of like the industrial age and
This is the realm that we're in.
Yes, exactly, right? Like this like fast fashion, like disposable, whatever consumerist culture that we find ourselves in. The parents are trying to struggle in opposition to like they are achieving victory in spite of that, like in face of that. And the children are turning it into something with meaning.
That's what's really good about it is it's almost a mindset of a disposable piece of furniture, but it's the life that you live around it that matters so much.
And you're talking about them being in opposition of each other too. You know, I don't want to go there. I want to go. You know, follow the cartoon dog's instruction. Not listening to that. That shiny's supposed to be up. No, it's supposed to be down. So they're the whole time, no butting each other. Well, the girls are just yes and left and right. Let's pretend we're fish. Also, I'm the baby. Now let's pretend that we're lizards. And now I'm a teenager. And just the girls are taking the throwaway parts of this project and turning it into gold.
Right.
While the parents, every step of the way, are just really struggling to, because we don't see Chili and Bandit squabble that often. They're usually on each other's team and on the same side. And this one, they're just.
I'm so happy that you're here for our 3-hour episode of Flatback.
But and with the kids too. This is my oldest daughter, 8 years old. I've got an 8 and 5-year-old daughters at home. She said for Christmas she just wants empty boxes.
Easy.
Because she just wants to take the, not because of this episode or anything, she just wants to make a castle, make a robot, build a city, all these sort of things, which is like.
Okay, Greg, you raised creative kids. What do you want? A medal?
Thanks, dude.
Congratulations. My kid won a dollhouse. Like, what do you want from me, Greg? You need a medal?
Come on, man. Lego sponsorship.
Thank
you,
Justin.
My kids see past the consumerist bull crap. They want to create. They're creators. They're not consumers.
Dang it.
Listen, our house looks like a recycle pit, so sometimes it's okay to be a little consumeristic.
Greg, do you ever have the moment you'll appreciate? Do you ever have the moment where they are playing with a piece of trash long enough where you realize like, if they play with this much longer, I'm going to have to keep it.
It's yours now.
My kids have a trash cat that they made out of trash that has been in our house for 3 years now, and I can't get rid of trash cat. They'll make like a TV, right, out of a box, and it's like, oh no, it's too fun. I can't throw away the TV now. No.
It's part of our house.
It's part of our house.
A couple years ago, me and Emily tag teamed on a robot costume for her that I don't think she can get the head of it on, but it has been in our house, in our basement for about 4.5 years, slowly molding away into nothingness.
That's great.
Those are much harder to donate. But yeah, we kind of keep rocking into the episode. They keep throwing different pieces. We go from just the bubble wrap to the flat cardboard to, like Mike, you're talking about the volcano. I very much enjoy too. Chili doesn't really interact with the girls in all of this. It's always Bandit that comes down, and Bandit is the one who crashes the volcano. Bandit is the one who takes back the climbing area. And I like how in the hieroglyphs that they make first off, when I saw Bingo holding a Sharpie, that is a nightmare fuel for me, because that could go so bad in so many ways.
Yeah, that's the worst. It's the worst thing that could happen.
I'm glad you had that thought. My thought was, how was Bandit holding the Sharpie in his ear? Because he's holding it like over his side ear, but it's not happening.
That's like in the Rug Island. whenever he gets the marker from her, and she's like, what is it? He's like, it's everything. In my head, I'm like, it's one less marker that I have to take away from these kids because they have so many markers right now. It's terrifying. I got to get some of these markers away.
I have to be able to be like, there's 3 of them. Got it.
But the hieroglyphs, they've got all their transformations, and then each one I enjoyed as they were going through it. They didn't only say I'm a frog. It's like frog, ribbit, ribbit. They made the noises, and then as they were the cave dog days, they were recounting each noise, and then just up in the middle, you just see the parents bickering. They're squabbling.
The overlords.
And we have Bluey just going like for Bandit, and then wah, 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 for Chili, and so they're here, and kids hear and see everything that you do. And again, Justin, as you said earlier, as opposed to taking advantage of that and poking more buttons to see what happens, these little kiddos just inspire greatness and make mom and dad feel the feels better, calm down the situation.
So before the situations happen, I'm gonna have my little spot. Bandit does have a moment where he drops the Allen wrench, and he goes, I just felt that.
I felt so seen. Yeah, I felt so seen because as not a wood, my father-in-law is an amazing woodworker. He's made like beautiful toy chests for my daughters.
Beds.
And probably great. He's made play tables and all this stuff, and he tries to help me with it, but it's just the detail work I really struggle with. But you get me with an Allen wrench, I'm in my zone, except I feel like I go through a dozen of them every single project that I do just because they're the worst little tool. And if you're not doing things right, it just like rips up your hands.
They are. I have like a multi Allen wrench. Like when I see a one in a box, I used to have like a drawer of them. Like you use one, it feels weird to throw away a tool. It's like, I don't know, I might run into this exact shape again. Who knows? But I just chuck them into a bin now because I have something else that I use.
Is it kind of like the Swiss Army?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Bam.
Yeah.
They're
fantastic.
Also has
They're fantastic.
Not a visual medium, but Mike also ripped one out too. So I guess I'm just
it keeps on him at all times, I guess, Mike, just in case something needs to be Allen wrench.
Just in case. Mid-podcast, Allen wrench, got you.
Unbelievable.
Tighten it up.
I feel so alone.
Got to keep it tight.
But the other one, I'm just curious. I know you woodworkers, so you don't have projects like this, but I am curious because I've had a lot of projects, and me and my wife call it couples team building, when there's like a big thing to build or create or put together or something like that.
Ooh.
A lot of times I kind of try to fade into the background and kind of let her run the project and kind of give me the job to do. Are you a big couples team building? Are you divide and conquer? How do you guys do stuff like that?
That's a nah, dog.
No. I put it together. My wife, but it is. We have many things that we do together, but my wife doesn't do instructions, does not enjoy instructions, and I kind of like worship at the feet of instructions, right? So like in cooking, she does the cooking stuff where it's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And for me, I do baking. It's like exactly this, exactly that, nothing else. Please do it right. But so like projects like this where there's a very prescriptive like A to B, I typically do those. Even when it means like I'm trying to hold up a bed frame, with my feet, because it's supposed to be a 2-person thing while I tighten it with my hands and that kind of jazz. I find that sort of like assemblage very calming. It doesn't stress me out, but it's not the best environment for my wife and I to collaborate on.
Yeah, I get that too. A lot of what we do, we try to divide and conquer with that. Like, hey, honey, Beth, what do you want to do? Which part? Is like, I'm going to be over here. Okay, I'm going to be over there doing that step so that we're not stepping on. And I think that's where we ended up in this episode. We get the moment of them looking at their girls. We made those little tackers.
Whoa.
And
that needs more leverage, personally.
They feel, okay, rip the instructions in half. You do this part, you do that bit. And if they would have done that from moment one, first off, it'd be a much shorter episode and less deep and meaningful and all that jazz, but they would have been a little bit happier off the jump.
I think you get a lot of Bandit just realizing he needs to, he found his space of how he needs to work with Chili. And he just started saying, yes, boss. Got you, boss. Don't worry.
Ooh.
And
you say that so cavalier. I'm quite certain if I said to my wife, yes, boss, that wouldn't be.
That's how you posit it, man.
They were in the squibble moment too. That felt like a whatever you say, boss kind of vibe versus the lovey-dovey vibe. Mr. Positive over there.
I get it. When his thumb got blomped and he fell down as a volcano, he realized we have a project to do.
Do dogs have thumbs?
Huh?
Do dogs have thumbs? I don't have a pet dog. Hey guys, do dogs have thumbs? Do
Yes.
dogs have thumbs? Yes?
Yes. But Carrie and I had a moment way back when we did a Christmas project. We were building a kitchen for Finn, and we were on step 12, and I did the shiny side the wrong way. And then we got to step like 27, and oops, all berries. You had to do step 12 right, and we had to undo everything. So it's just a matter of let's do what's best for the situation.
That personally would be project over for me. We will try again tomorrow. That's where that would be for me. But good on them. They pulled through.
Dogs have what's called a declaw, which is like
Justin's on the case.
in the same place that it's vestigial on some animals, but it's like where the thumb would be. Lots of mammals have them. It serves the same purpose as a thumb. But it's
Not called a thumb, though.
not
The
called.
more you know.
No, yeah, go figure.
Feel smarter already. And we're getting close to the end game here. We've gone from fish to frogs to lizards to birds to cavemen. Just again, the girls yes-anding all the way. And now we get the styrofoam, which kudos to the 0 mile per hour wind in Brisbane on this day, because even a gust would have ruined all of the fun.
There was tape.
That styrofoam's going everywhere if there's even a whisper of breeze. But I enjoy how everything was so wooden and like paper, and then we get the artificial material, and that's kind of when we turn into the future. We go futuristic when we get the styrofoam involved.
Because Bingo's going off to space.
Yeah.
Detailed in the builds. And again, if you're not tearing up when I'm so proud of you, honey, thank you for taking care of me. I've watched this so many times, and I can't. I just can't with that.
Yeah, it's lovely. I mean, it's lovely.
I'm very lucky to have the one solo child in my life, so that way I can just experience my own version of it and not see him doing that and be like, "We made that," because that's heavy.
It is very heavy. It's heavy from start to finish, and we hit on the ending at the beginning. We ascend the staircase. The music grows. Mom's hand reaches out, which also feels very Sleepy Time, with Mom just kind of being the one who brings you to the center, that brings you to your happy place. We have the completed swing, and this is heaven. Justin, before we get to our 3 questions to close this show out, any closing thoughts on this episode?
I mean, I don't know what else I could say that isn't covered by it being the best episode of TV that there is. I think we've covered it in great detail.
Well, we covered all that, then. Well, let's cover 3 other quick things. Hey, Justin.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing today?
Let's try this again without all the argy bargy, because that's something that like we have my wife and I will employ when we're in a stressful situation. So I don't know. I just really like the way they put that. That would be mine.
That's a really good. I've stolen a lot of Blueyisms. That one is not one I've taken yet, so I might have to snag that one. I do like that.
It's a good piece of mind to have. Greg,
Yes, sir.
what was your favorite thing?
My favorite thing, and I talked a little earlier, the sound of each animal. They didn't just say we're playing this, but each one they gave it a specific sound, and then when they were doing the hieroglyphs, they referenced back to everything, and it just put it all in just one nice big. It took it from being just. We're also still just kids playing games, and we don't realize that we're going through evolution. We're just kids playing games and making silly noises. And I love that everybody can watch this, and then a parent can sit back and just see it the other way too. So that was my favorite thing. Hey, Mike,
Yeah?
what was your favorite thing?
My favorite thing was the alien wrench moment where he dropped it. Bandit just had to take his deep sigh and say, "This is so much for the greater good right now. Let's keep going." And how many allen wrenches do I have sitting around my house right now? None, because I have the tool for it.
Show off. Well, that said then, Justin,
Game respect game.
who's your favorite character of this episode? Actually, wait, favorite episode of this, favorite character of this episode, and just overall. Why not?
Ooh, double whammy.
No rules, just right.
Oh, that's rude. Look at the face.
See what I did
He's so
there.
mad at you right now.
I'm trying to figure out if there's a non-boring answer, but I mean, it's Bandit. Like, I know that it's kind of played at this point to be like, I learned a lot about being a dad from watching. I get it, but it's just I see a lot of myself in him, and I try to like have elements of him in my life, like somebody that I know that that's dumb, but there's not a lot of great representation of dads on TV that aren't doofuses. And it's not like, oh, poor guys. I mean, I get it. Like it is natural for that to be the, if you want to punch up within the family structure, especially as like the rise of TV, if you want to be punching up, like that is the patriarch of the family, quote unquote. I'm talking like, I'm not reinforcing, societal stereotypes. I'm talking in the era of like, daddy knows best, my 3 sons, that kind of thing, right? So it makes sense, but like having a guy who like a dad specifically who is trying to do his best at that job, even if he always seems to have a lot more free time than I ever do. Like, I think it's nice to have a great example like that.
Fantastic. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, but
Who's your favorite character?
in this episode, I don't have to do all encompassing, right?
Nah.
Okay.
I talk to you every week.
I do like Bluey a lot in this episode. There's something about her that just, she adopts her younger sister as a growing painter, and she's also just learning about so many things in life and the whole evolution of not only mankind, but just the writers were sneaky on this episode. Is the way I'll put it. Seeing Bluey experience it and then go through the pearly gates,
It's great.
hits me a little bit. Yeah. Greg,
Yeah?
who's your favorite character in this episode, please?
My favorite character in this episode are cartoon dogs, because sometimes they do have something to teach us.
Dang it.
Bang! Gotcha!
I thought you were gonna give it to the swing. I truly did. You always go full
The swing
like,
is the fifth
background
character.
I
Yeah,
also
like New York
like
City.
that the girls, after they put on their styrofoam hats in the future, their eyebrows
Their
go
eyebrows are ridiculous.
above the hats. It's hysterical. It's so funny.
One last one for you, Justin. Flat Pack, the greatest TV episode of all time. How do you rank this episode?
I mean, when you said this, you said that you don't really use real metrics. I don't know what metric supersedes the best episode of TV of all time. Like, if you're ranking it,
Hey, it can be real just this one time. Why not?
I mean, that's the best episode of TV. That's its rank. The rank is number 1, which is above all other episodes of TV that have been produced.
Bam. Sorry, CISO Network with the Bim Bam Show.
I don't know. But you know what? Flip side, if you had let us make 150 episodes,
See?
we might have stumbled on to 1 or 2 transcendent ones. Probably not, but maybe. I don't know.
Let's see,
Maybe.
not with that attitude. Come on,
Yeah,
Justin.
right.
Just wait for Quibi Part 2. Everybody be set.
Yeah, right.
We'll both get a show. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, bud.
How do you rank this one?
I rank this episode one shiny bit that was supposed to be right side up.
Oh.
Because it's 3 more hours of work in your life that you didn't expect, but it's a great Christmas Eve when you fall asleep at 3:30. Greg, how in the world can I ask you to even begin to rank this episode of Bluey? Flyback.
I rank this 77 missing Allen wrenches somewhere around my house that I dropped mid-project. Justin, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time here. Anything
my
you like?
pleasure.
This is our Candlenights episode coming
Okay.
out in 2 Mondays from now. Anything you would like to plug?
You can still go to bit.ly/Candlenights 2022 and watch our Candlenights Holiday Spectacular. It's like a long video show special that we do every holiday season. If you go to that address, it's $5. But if you can donate more, all of it goes to Harmony House, a shelter in my area for people experiencing homelessness.
Very nice.
So you can still watch that. It came out on the 17th, but you can go watch it now if you want. bit.ly/Candlenights, like nights as in evening, not night as in, armor.
I'll give you a double plug. I know I believe February, the next installment of the Adventure Zone comic series, graphic novel series is coming out, which
Yeah.
I can't wait for.
It's good. It's a really good one.
With some very heavy editing. It's a nighttime book I read to my daughter, Emily. So a couple words missing, couple words changed around, but she is also a huge fan.
A couple of taco phrases are taken out.
Yeah.
Abraca heck yeah. Real quick on our end, first and foremost, just want to plug this podcast. If there's anybody new, this is your first episode. Subscribe, check us out. We've got some fun. We talk sleepy time with Adel Rafai, camping with Megaran. We've got a fun Bluey bracket. We talked to Joe Brum. So check out our back catalog. We'd appreciate it.
We're really cheesy and lame and fun. Promise. It's worth it.
Most of the time. We just skim through those first 10 episodes. You know, it takes some time to learn.
That's every podcast on the planet.
Thanks. Like a fine wine, we get better with age. For all our socials, all our merch, Patreon, go to linktr.ee/watchingbluey. That's linktr.ee/watchingbluey. Woohoo! And lastly, and most importantly,
oh man,
if you're looking for a quality outdoor swing and you don't want to have to put it together yourself, check out the Australian Garden Furniture Company in Geelong, Australia. 100% Australian-made outdoor furniture. With 30 years of experience, their brand name is respected throughout the industry. Check them out at agfc.com.au. Justin, again, we appreciate you. We have an outro that we do say gotta be done at the end of every episode. So,
okay.
Hey, Justin, 2022's been a hoot. This is our last episode, so I guess what?
What?
It's gotta be done.
Done.
It's gotta